Fitin10 Nation, welcome to day 67 of your challenge.
That's right. It is day 67, a couple days to go, and we are going to get right into the questions. We want to make sure that we get through all these questions here before the challenge actually ends. So
Indeed.
Let's get into it here, Martina. This person writes, I feel like I kind of gave up a bit this past week.
What happened?
Well, we're going to find out here. I got sick with a cold and I couldn't work out. Then I got a bit bummed out and I got a case of hormonal hungry, ... I didn't eat bad foods, but I did eat way more than my allotted macros. I just never felt satiated for a few days. So now I feel like a jerk to myself because I was doing really well on the challenge and now I am not. All right, so the first thing I want to say here is if you fell off the wagon for a couple days,
it is what
it is what it is, and you just got to get back on it and keep going. It's just the way it is. I mean, you have to learn through these times, right?
Absolutely. And then that's actually how you get stronger. It's by, you make a mistake, you fix the mistake, you move on, you do it again, you fall, you stand up, you keep going.
Yeah, and hopefully when this happens, there's sort of two sides to this. One, you learn more about yourself. And that's good. That's a good thing. What we don't want to happen is for this to reoccur and then you get so demoralized where you just say, oh, what's the point? Obviously, the more that you do, the more that you're going to see results. The less that you do, the less results you're going to see. But again, this comes back all to what, Martina?
Consistency.
And?
Oh, for God's sake.
Self-control. Okay? It comes back to self-control. People hate hearing this. They want it. They want me to give them something.
I already told you I don't have that much self-control. I have ways of, managing my life that minimize my expectation to make poor choices.
So maybe we want to read the second part of this question.
Tell me more.
So this person continues to write, hormonal regulation, going through my monthly cycle, there are days when I am less patient, days when I just feel sad, days when I feel motivated, and then days where my world feels like it's falling apart. I find this impacts my motivation to get up in the mornings and stay on top of my diet. I wish it didn't affect me as much as it does, but perimenopause is a frustrating hindrance in life as I continue to age. What strategies can you suggest for respecting your body/mind as it's going through these changes without just ignoring and plowing through the fact that I cyclically feel like crap? You want to say anything on this, first of all?
Yeah, it's a choice.
I know, I hate to say it, but, because I know, or at least I think I know, how people feel when we say it, but it is a choice at the end of the day. Listen, if it was so easy, then it would be easy. And then you probably wouldn't enlist our help, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, that's really what it's about. And a lot of people wouldn't struggle with the consistency. Consistency is the hardest thing. It's how easy is it to do something for a couple days or a week or 2 weeks, right? It's the in and out every day, week after week, month after month. That's where the magic lies.
I know. And then you think about this, right? It's easy to give up. It's hard to continue.
Yeah.
So it's never going to be easy to continue.
Yeah, it gets in some ways it gets easier, but in some ways it gets harder as well.
I understand.
So, this is where, and as you put in your question, I cyclically feel like crap. So you know what's coming, right? So one thing, and I touched upon this before, but I'm going to say it again. If you have a hard time getting anything accomplished, do it first thing when you wake up, or get up earlier and do it if you feel like you don't have the time in the morning.
Absolutely.
Getting it done first thing, you'll get it done.
Yeah, because it's much easier to basically wake up, have like a little bit of food and then train. Much easier than coming after a 10-hour day work and be like, oh, I got to drag myself to train. It's much easier. Just come out of bed and do what you got to do. That's why this 7 a.m. Classes are so much stronger than the 6 p.m. because you don't think about what needs to be. You just do it.
And Martina, well, you know this. I despise cardio. I hate it. I hate getting on the bike. especially if it's a day where I don't get a chance to do. I have days where I don't do the intervals, which actually is easier, but it makes it a little bit more monotonous, and I just can't stand it. But the reality is, the more I prolong doing it, the less, the harder and the less likely it's going to become. And but also, actually, as you mentioned, the harder not just in the sense of you're procrastinating, but harder in the sense of, if you're battling back and forth, oh, I got to do this, oh, but I'm gonna do it later, but I got to do this, oh, but I do, and you actually lose the, for lack of better words, the confidence in yourself, or the self-belief that you can do it.
Mm-hmm. And the want as well. It's that simple. And that's the reason why, by the way, willpower diminishes over a day, right? We talk about this. You wake up in the morning, you're on top of the world, you're going to do your diet, you're going to do your training, you're going to do your thing. And then think about it, at 5 p.m., you've just had enough. You know? You're like more likely to cheat at night than in the morning. So do everything that needs to be done first thing in the morning. Especially the stuff that you don't want to do.
Acknowledging how you feel is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying ignore how you feel. But don't let the way that you feel dictate what you're going to do in your life. No,
just imagine that. Like, I wake up every single morning, I have poor nights of sleep, for example, this week. Imagine if I say to myself, hey, you didn't sleep last night, let's not go to work this morning. Like, it makes no sense. Like, I am going to wake up because I have things I have to do. And if you can wake up in the morning to go to work because you have to, then you can also wake up in the morning and go to train because you have to.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You brush your teeth every single day. Why can't you train every single day? Like, have you ever missed a day of brushing your teeth? Or like, do you have days where you don't want to do it? No, let's just do it.
If it was just about doing it and it wasn't very hard to do, like I said in the beginning, then everybody would be doing it. Everybody would be doing it. So you do have to plow through it. You do have to tell yourself, no, I have to get this. If I don't do this, I can't expect to get what I want in the end. With all great things comes sacrifice. You have to push yourself through it.
Yeah, and as hard as we're talking the talk, if you remember from the gym, I told you that I always wanted to have this saying at the entrance of the gym that says, leave your feelings behind. And I don't consider that plowing through. I consider that making the choice that what we are about to do is more important. It's not the end of the world if I'm tired. Standing up, going to work, going to train is something that I choose to do, even if I am tired that day. Feelings got nothing to do with what you got to do. You just got to do it. And I don't consider, plowing through my feelings. I consider that making the right choice.
And when you get it done, you feel better.
So much happier.
You feel better that you got it done. Like, you feel better about yourself. You don't feel disappointed. Yeah. You don't feel like you've lost that self-belief. And
then I've shared this with you. Sorry for interrupting you before, but in times that were very, very difficult in my life emotionally, and only one time was I able to, to continue to respect my training protocols and my food protocols. And I gotta say, it was like, let's say, the easiest hard moments of my life because of that, because I had something to look forward to, something that I did repetitively, something that made me feel good, and something for which I made the choice to continue to do while I was feeling the way I felt, and it helped me through the difficult times.
So just rereading your last sentence, without just ignoring and plowing through the fact that I cyclically feel like crap, you have to plow through. With the exception of being sick. If you are physically sick, you need to rest through that period. Doesn't mean go off your diet, but you need to give yourself the period for your body to utilize its resources to get better. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's a separate thing. Acknowledging how you feel. I don't feel well today.
I feel sad.
Like, I feel sad, or I don't feel like doing it, or I feel like, what's the point? You have that checklist, and you've got to get through that checklist. Mm-hmm. And when you do, because at the end of the day, as we mentioned, it's just a choice. It's about just putting in the time and doing it, even if it's 80% or whatever. Yeah. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
All right? Maybe it's not a full 100%. Maybe you don't get your heart rate to the level that we want you to get to, or whatever.
Yeah, maybe after 40 minutes, you've had enough and you have to stop. It's all fine. You showed up.
Well, it's not fine. But the point is some is better than none.
Absolutely.
Right? But ultimately, it is about plowing through. You have to sacrifice. This is what it takes to get to a place that's hard for you to get to. Let's get to the message of the day.
So most people overestimate what they can do in the short term.
And they underestimate what they can do in the long term. So let's read that again, Martina.
Most people overestimate what they can do in the short term.
They overestimate what they can do in the short term. And they underestimate what they're capable of doing in the long term. It's all about the long term. Long term, nothing extreme, moderate, but consistent, long term. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself, for the love of God, give some gratitude, and we will see you on our final video of this challenge.